Good day to you guys. How are you feeling and how are you living? I just wanted to come on here and say that I hope you're protecting your peace and I hope you're finding joy despite there being these dark times. I'm fighting through an overwhelming amount of guilt right now. Trying to process everything and deal with everything, and so every time I want to take pause, I'm feeling guilty, but at the same time I know that my mental health is very, very important, so I want to make sure that I am taking care of that as well. And I know it's hard to go back and forth between two struggles. Oh God, that's hot. Two different struggles, and one being your mental health and one being you as a human being. So I just want to make sure that I check in with you guys and make sure that you're taking care of yourselves, because we're no good for this struggle if we aren't taking, oh my gosh, if we're not taking care of ourselves. And that is first and foremost the most important rule of the struggle, is to make sure that your mind, body, and soul are being taken care of. So I just wanted to make sure that you're fully aware that it's okay to pause, it's okay not to scroll, it's okay to do all those things, because we do need to take care of ourselves. I've been spending a lot of time reading and communicating with people that are in this same place as me. One person, she's also another YouTuber, and I'm gonna have to figure out her name because it's long and I tend to forget it, but she's also another YouTuber, and she's in an interracial relationship, and you can tell that she's feeling the same weight that the rest of us are feeling, and I applaud her for that. It's hard to be apparently it's very hard to be sympathetic in these times. So when you're in an interracial relationship, I do feel like you do take on the struggle with us. And they have a baby together, and you know, she says to me, like, I want to make sure that I'm raising my daughter right, and you know, making sure that she's proud of both sides of herself, which is always the hardest part of being a biracial child, adult, whatever. It's always hard to honor both sides of yourself, especially in a situation like this, where one side might get privilege and the other side of you not. And so it's a difficult place to be in as a biracial person. So I can only imagine how my family is feeling right now, you know, my cousins, and thinking about, you know, how difficult it can be. How we bring light to the struggle, that changes, but as far as us having to deal with these injustices, it's constant, it's forever. The PTSD, the trauma, everything that we're feeling now is something that's been felt in our community forever. And not only that, we're trying to break generational curses. There's a lot of weight on us as a whole. So I just want to make sure that you are checking in with yourself and making sure you're checking in with your mental health, because I allowed myself a couple weeks of just full-on depression mode and not feeling the best. So now I'm trying to break out of that by finding a place of peace and still bring light to what's going on. But like I said, this is not a test of your blackness. You're black by default. You were born that way, so there's no test to pass. You're just automatically black. And there's so many other struggles within our communities with systematic oppression, economic depression. We've been held back in several different ways that many other people will not understand unless they were put in our position. Make sure you're taking care of yourself in any way you possibly can, whether it's journaling, meditating, petting your crazy dog, Make sure you're drinking your water. Love on one another and point out positive things about one another, because we're so easy to tear down each other. And while that is not through any fault of our own, the system was created to keep us divided. We're more aware now, okay? We're a lot more conscious now. So we need to be together, you know. We're stronger together. So I feel like, you know, at this moment in time, like a ceasefire should be happening. A family member that I fell out with a few months back, and we've been communicating since this all started, and it hasn't really been resolved, but we understand that there's something bigger going on and a ceasefire is put in place, and I hope that we'll come to a place of understanding where we can talk to each other. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because I wouldn't want anything to happen to any of my family members, no matter what the status of our relationship is. And I will always fight on their behalf, no matter what the situation is. But I think we both saw that there was a call to action, and utilizing each other is the best way to get that going. So we have been communicating, although I feel a little strange, I ain't gonna lie, because I don't like, you know, unresolved things going on. But at the same time, you know, a ceasefire is needed. So I just feel like right now we should be building and uplifting each other. Don't let that division break us down, because that's what they've done the whole time. And they created something systematically where black people could be against black people even based on their color. So not only are you fighting a system on the outside based on color, but you also are fighting a system from the inside based on color. So none of these things are by accident, okay? These things were all, this is psychological warfare, and they play on your mind, and they put things in your mind so much, and it's so deeply ingrained that generations back brought it to the, you know, to us. And it's up to us, no matter what your age is right now, it's up to us to break those things that were systematically created to tear us apart as a people, put us back together as a people, because the only ones that we should be fighting are the ones that are our oppressors, the ones that are actually trying to hold us back, the ones that are actually creating those systems to keep us down. Those are the people that you fight, not your own people. But again, we don't all realize that this stuff was actually ingrained in our minds long before we were on this earth. So I understand that some people don't understand why they feel the way they do and things like that, but it was all put into our heads long before we were created. So this is something that's been systematically carried through our lives all this time. So for those of you that don't buy black, I buy a lot of things black, but I also buy a lot of things that are not always black. So I'm like, I would have to say, if I was gonna put a percentage, it'd be 50-50 on how I do my purchasing. And now I need to be more consciously aware to bring that number, drive that number up. My ultimate goal has been generational wealth for my family. And as a matter of fact, you know, I upped my life insurance policy to make sure that my family can reap the benefits even when I'm gone, because a lot of people get to a better place, honestly, by an inheritance. I mean, you can learn these things on your own, but a lot of people, you know, that are not a part of our community get an inheritance, and they then use that money to do other things. And I want my children to have that opportunity as well, and their children's children to benefit, and their children's children to benefit. So it's time to start making financial moves for our community, doing what's right for our community, and even as a community, buying small is the best way to go. So, I mean, that's what funnels back into your pockets. That's what generates within your economy where you are. So buying small is the best way to go, and buying black is the best way for us to go, because, you know, it gets back into our people's pockets and it helps us. But no matter what, if it's buying small, you're doing the right thing economic wise, because, you know, big corporations do not pay taxes. A lot of times they have a ton of tax breaks, and it's not not helping your community at all other than their presence. But as far as them actually contributing into the economy in your area, a lot of times they're not, because they have big tax breaks. A lot of the tax deductions and breaks that we don't know about, big corporations do, and so they don't really pay into the tax system. About educating ourselves, elevating ourselves, and getting into a better mental space. So I do invite you to take this time just to take a breather, shut everything off, like listen to music and find your peace, so that you're not out here feeling sad and blue all the time, because it does weigh on you. And I had all these videos lined up, and I was going to talk about redlining and all kinds of stuff related to my grandparents, and they didn't get their home. They almost didn't get their home because of the banks deciding that they didn't want to loan them money, even though they met all the qualifications other than the color qualification. And it took for our allies to help them get their home, because they said they were going to pull the money out of the bank if they weren't going to be lending to people of color. And that's how strength in numbers work, and that's how this whole thing works. The same system that can systematically oppress people economically can be the same system that we could do the same for, because without our money generating in their pockets, the same thing that they did to us can happen to them. You just have to be mindful about where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, and build wealth within your family, and each one teach one. So if you know something that you could spread to the next person, do it. And why hold secrets back? And instead of holding back, like, uplift your people. And for me, whatever I know, I try to spread. And if there's something I know, I have to verify it before I actually share the information, because I don't want to spread wrong information. But it's right here. I just want to make sure that we're taking the time to build community. No matter if you're near or far, make sure that you're trying to build a community with one another and help each other out, because lending a helping hand is what builds the community. And we have a lot of lost young people. We have a lot of lost older people. We have a lot of people in our community that are lost, and a lot of people that have a wealth of knowledge and don't share it. And then we have a lot of people that do have a wealth of knowledge and they do share it. So we just need to bridge all those gaps so that we can become a better community. And that's all I'm asking, is that we just work together, love on each other, and give yourself grace at this time. It's really, really hard. And for any non-people of color that want to know what to do and to do more, is just, spread the word to your people about how racism affects other people, because it does. A system that was created solely with the whole objective of keeping a group down is wrong, and to always keep constantly having that same group kept down is wrong. And while it looks like one thing to someone on the outside, on the inside for us it's different. Our families were torn apart, and we weren't able to get the same opportunities. We weren't offered the same opportunities. So even education-wise, we weren't even taught the same things. A lot of stuff we have to learn on our own or through other people that teach us along the way, and mentors. And that's another thing, you need mentors. Mentors are mad important. So definitely just look out for yourself and your own mental health, and look out for people around you. We definitely need community and love. Do you see these protests out here? It's community and love, people coming together and seeing the struggle of a group of people who were systematically oppressed, and they're trying to help them in any way that they see fit. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing, because we're not the only oppressed group out there, but We've definitely been oppressed for a long time. Think about, like, I don't even know what a life would be like without some kind of systematic racism, because from the moment that we were dragged here to this moment that I'm speaking in right now, there's always been some kind of systematic racism involved. There's always been some type of way that they could keep you down as a person. And trust me, if we're all not here because the goal seems to be genocide, then they're gonna go after another group of people of color. So we're only 13%. I always have to drive that point home. Only 13%. So if they're one by one, if their goal is to one by one wipe us out, then, and without cause, then the next group of people, you're going to be in our place. So they may not even have the numbers, but they have the power. And that's how they play the game, is with the power. Those people that create laws, execute laws, and the people that are arresting, all that stuff, all of them play together on the same playground. So that is how you can keep a group of people down, even if you don't have the numbers. Even if you become the minority, if you have the power, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So just look out for one another and love on one another and take time for yourself, but get back out there in the struggle however you're doing it. You know what I mean? I'm doing mine through social media because my voice is my most powerful weapon. And these things will stay out here for, well, unless YouTube takes them down, because that's another oppression tool. TikTok was hiding hashtags related to Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. So I never had TikTok. I had never really planned on getting a TikTok. It wasn't something that I was interested in doing or getting. But I definitely can't be with the friction now, because that's wrong on all levels, knowing that somebody lost their lives and you don't want to uplift the people that are affected by this. So yeah, just grab you a piece of something, no matter what that piece looks like, whether it's eating your Ben & Jerry's ice cream, because they're always down for the cause. Thank you, Ben & Jerry's. And whether it is meditating, whether it is binging on a movie, like whatever it is, find your sort of peace and enjoy it, because we have a long fight ahead of us. This fight has been going on since the beginning of our time out here in these United States of America. My non-melanated friend, and I told her, I was like, imagine seeing people that look just like you every day on a screen being killed, and there's no justice and nothing happens, and they don't even need a cause to kill you. They just can kill you and go about their day and go home and eat dinner with their families and laugh and have barbecues and do all this living. And then your kid is coming up and they're seeing the same thing, and one day your child asks you the hard questions like, why is everyone upset? Why is everyone mad? And you have to have this talk at 5 years old with your child about racism, about how pretty much how the world views them differently than the rest of the world. And these are hard talks that we have to have with our kids at a young age. And can you imagine losing your innocence at a young age over something that's beyond your control and could be stopped, but hasn't been yet? So it's just crazy to think that we can go on and let things like this happen, and it feels like you're in this constant tug of war. So yeah, I was having an overwhelming sense of guilt, feeling like I needed just a little space. But I understand that we are exhausted as a people. We've been exhausted as a people. So this is not our first rodeo. We've been going through this, and this is how we exhaust so fast, because it's a part of our everyday lives. There is a fly. This is a part of our everyday lives. where you can tan to be darker. There's no way to well, I mean, you can lighten your skin, but at the end of the day, I'm black. I'm proud to be black. I love being black. I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with systematic racism. Take care of yourself. Love on yourself. Don't feel the guilt that I feel for everything. If you need a break, you need a break. And it is tiring. And yeah, because honestly, I've been eat, sleep, breathing this nonstop since it happened. And so I cry and all kinds of stuff. Like, I haven't been properly taking care of myself. I haven't been eating right. I've been just, I don't know. So I just need to get on track. I've been jogging. I've been out there in the world, like, trying to take care of myself. When Kevin took me out yesterday to greenery, so he brought me out to this park over here, and honestly, it's like the best looking place I've seen since we moved here. It's green and stuff, and y'all know how I feel about my green, so give me a chance to like connect with the earth. The little walkway, it looks cute. The park is still closed. You see how they have the swings wound up and the caution tape. So yeah, the park is still closed, but yeah. Ground myself because it's hard for me to ground myself in dirt. It was a nice little break and I appreciated it. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hopefully thank you for spending your minutes with me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and peace be with all of you. And I'd like to end it by having the ancestors protect my people and the people and our allies in this struggle. Make sure that they're covered out there and no one is messing with them unjustly. And